Welcome to NFL Nexus. Look, we are standing right on the precipice of the 2026 NFL season, and honestly, the air in Pittsburgh right now, it's thick. It is thick with an uncomfortable, absolutely suffocating tension. We're talking about a franchise that is literally defined by stability, quietly but undeniably staring down the barrel of a massive, multifaceted crisis. In this explainer, we're going to break down the unseen fractures, the agonizingly delayed contracts, and the truly desperate positional shifts that are threatening to completely unravel the Pittsburgh Steelers before the first whistle even blows. The clock is ticking.
Because everything changed in a matter of seconds. We're looking at a massive shift in personnel, brand new coordinators, a totally reshuffled offensive line, and a literal ticking time bomb sitting right in the front office. We are just days away from training camp. The pads are about to come on. And the expectations, as they always are in this city, are Super Bowl or bust. But when you look at the granular realities of this roster, when you really examine the incredibly fine margins between a championship run and a total collapse, you have to ask, are they actually ready? Or is this a billion-dollar franchise hanging by a single fraying thread? To survive the grueling, high-stakes reality of this 2026 season, you absolutely need to understand the intricate details that everybody else is just completely missing. So do us a favor and subscribe to NFL Nexus right now. Like this explainer, jump down in the comments and let me know your thoughts on whether you think this team is actually built for a deep run or if they're destined for a tragic collapse. And hey, if you want to dive even deeper into the film and the front office strategies with us, support the channel by becoming a channel member.
Section 1, the contract standoff, silence in the front office. So the most glaring, uncomfortable silence in Pittsburgh right now, it isn't happening out on the turf. It's happening behind closed doors, deep in the front office. We are witnessing a full-blown, high-stakes contract standoff regarding the unresolved extension for their superstar cornerback, Joey Porter Jr. Now 52. That represents his total tackles in 2025. Add to that one sack and one incredibly critical interception. But look, we have to look way beyond just those cold statistics. Joey Porter Jr. is a lockdown corner. He is the specific guy you leave out on an island against the opposition's most terrifying dynamic weapon. He essentially erased an entire half of the field for the defense, completely changing the geometry of the game. When you have a true shutdown corner, it allows your safeties to cheat down into the box. It buys your pass rush that extra crucial half second to hit home. It literally dictates the entire flow of the game. That level of immense, undeniable value is the absolute cornerstone of any modern NFL defense. You simply do not gamble with a player of this caliber. You secure them, you pay them. But Pittsburgh...
And if you want to understand how tense this is, just look at how this timeline has actually played out. It perfectly illustrates the sheer disrespect, or at the very least, the completely bizarre misprioritization unfolding in real time. Early summer hits, and the talks with Porter just completely stall. Nothing. Then midsummer rolls around, and suddenly the front office finds an open checkbook to extend Nick Herbig, Darnell Washington, and kicker Chris Boswell. Then on the absolute eve of training camp, they finalize a deal with third-round rookie quarterback Drew Aller. A rookie gets his procedural paperwork sorted before your proven star cornerback. Just let that sink in for a second. To Porter's camp, watching a rookie signing get fast-tracked while their franchise corner money just sits in absolute limbo, it's a massive slap in the face. It breeds resentment, and it absolutely breeds tension.
Every day that goes by without a deal is a day Porter's camp views his price tag going up. That is the brutal, unavoidable reality of NFL leverage. The Steelers, they're known for grinding through negotiations, historically using the start of the regular season as their ultimate hard deadline. But they are playing a very, very dangerous game here. The shifting daily math is actively destroying Pittsburgh's negotiating leverage. The cornerback market, it doesn't go down, it only ever resets higher. The threat of a devastating holdout looms larger every single morning that the sun rises over that facility. The front office isn't saving money by waiting, they are actively compounding their own massive problem. Section 2. The inside linebacker liability, a costly problem.
So, while the perimeter is dealing with this bitter contract standoff, the interior of the defense is dealing with a terrifying, truly suffocating weakness. Under new defensive coordinator Patrick Graham, the middle of the field has to be an absolute fortress. Instead, the Steelers are looking at an inside linebacker liability that could fundamentally break their entire defensive scheme. $51 million. That's the massive 3-year contract size for Patrick Queen. The Steelers brought him in to be the ultimate enforcer. He was supposed to be the 2-time Pro Bowler who would completely solidify the middle of the field, striking fear into opposing running backs and crossing receivers. It was an absolutely massive financial weight to place on one man's shoulders, setting an expectation of pure, unadulterated dominance.
But here's where reality completely shatters that expectation. 31. And let me tell you, this is not just a statistic, it is a full-blown defensive catastrophe. That $51 million investment resulted in a staggering 31 missed tackles from Patrick Queen last season. And that didn't just lead the team, that led the entire National Football League. Just think for a second about the granular, devastating impact of a single missed tackle in the NFL. It's a third down conversion that gets unexpectedly extended. It's a broken short run that suddenly turns into an explosive, back-breaking touchdown. It is the absolute crushing deflation of a defense that thought it had achieved a stop. 31 times. Every single missed tackle is a completely blown opportunity to get your offense back on the field. It was arguably the absolute worst year of his entire career, plagued by brutal lapses in coverage and a complete, systemic inability to wrap up the ball carrier.
And the problem aggressively compounds when you look at who's actually supposed to be helping him shoulder this massive load. Take a look at 26-year-old Peyton Wilson. He possesses the elite physical tools to be an incredible sideline-to-sideline coverage linebacker, but we saw absolutely zero second-year leap from him on the field. None. His run defense remains below average at best. He's this raw, unrefined toolset that just hasn't materialized into a reliable weapon. So, what exactly is the contingency plan? Cole Holcomb. He is recovering from a severe knee injury that sidelined him for a season and a half. Yet despite that devastating injury, he currently represents the only high-floor reliability and strong run defense left in that entire room. He is the desperate, fragile safety net for a completely underperforming unit.
The absolute breaking point of this desperation rests entirely on this number, 198. That is the exact number of defensive snaps Cole Holcomb managed to play last year across 14 games. 198 snaps. That is a minuscule, incredibly concerning sample size. Yet, because of Queen's horrific missed tackle rate and Wilson's stagnant, frankly disappointing development, the Steelers are essentially forced to view Holcomb, a man fresh off a devastating injury with barely any recent time on the actual field, as their inevitable, completely desperate contingency plan. If Queen and Wilson falter again, the entire crushing weight of the interior defense falls squarely on the shoulders of a player who saw the field for exactly 198 snaps last year.
Section 3. Protecting Aaron Rodgers, the blindside gamble. But this tension, it isn't just isolated to the defense. Over on the offensive side of the ball, an entirely different, incredibly fragile gamble is taking place. A gamble where a legendary right-handed quarterback's physical health hangs delicately in the balance. We're talking about protecting Aaron Rodgers and the monumental, franchise-altering risk the Steelers are taking with his blindside. The Steelers lost Pro Bowl guard Isaac Sumalo in free agency, which created a massive, terrifying void on the left side of the line. Their solution? A radical, totally unprecedented structural overhaul. They are taking their dynamic duo from the right side, Mason McCormick and Troy Fautanu, and shifting them entirely to the left side for 2026. Now look, this isn't just flipping a switch in a video game. Actually, scratch that. It's more like trying to write perfectly with your non-dominant hand while a 280-pound pass rusher tries to take your head off. Muscle memory, your footwork, visual processing, blocking angles, hand placement, absolutely everything fundamentally changes when you flip sides on an NFL offensive line. You're asking a player to perform highly complex, incredibly violent physical maneuvers completely backward from what his body has been trained to do for years. And they're doing this desperately to fortify the left side to build a solid wall where Aaron Rodgers simply cannot see the rush coming.
I want you to listen to this grim assessment from Ray Fittipaldo at the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. He's got to protect Aaron Rodgers' blindside. I think if Fautanu is better, Aaron Rodgers can hold the ball longer. The gravity in that statement is just immense. If Troy Fautanu, a 25-year-old who has almost exclusively played on the right side in the pros, cannot immediately and flawlessly adapt to being an elite left tackle, Aaron Rodgers goes down. It is quite literally a life or death scenario for him in the pocket. Because Broderick Jones wasn't up to the task previously, the offense had to drastically alter its entire identity to hide the line's fatal flaws. Now, everything hinges on this single massive experiment. And that brings us to the ultimate offensive blueprint for 2026. This entire multi-step process rests almost entirely on the shoulders of Fautanu successfully, seamlessly switching sides. Step 1. You have to fix the blindside protection. You absolutely have to buy the quarterback time. If he does that, you achieve step 2. Eliminate the short yardage dink and dunk offense that completely plagued them last year. Remember, this was a year where a running back was inexplicably their leading receiver. Step 3. With more time in the pocket, Rodgers can finally open up that intermediate passing game, aggressively attacking the very same linebackers we just talked about. And finally, unlock the deep ball potential that makes a modern NFL offense truly explosive. But here's the catch. None of this happens, literally none of it, if the 25-year-old fails his transition to the left side.
Section 4. The 2026 Ripple Effect, a franchise on the brink.
In the National Football League, micro-failures do not exist in a vacuum. They compound. They bleed into one another until they create an undeniable, cascading macro disaster. If we connect the dots here, we can see exactly how easily this entire season could just unravel into a full-scale catastrophe. Let's look at the risks. Joey Porter Jr.'s stalled contract. The consequence is the price tag rises daily, the Steelers lose all negotiating leverage, and a massive, completely avoidable distraction plagues the locker room before a single snap is even played. The risk of Patrick Queen repeating his 31 missed tackles, coupled with Peyton Wilson's alarming lack of development. The consequence is a complete defensive collapse in the middle of the field, forcing a battered Cole Holcomb to try and somehow save a rapidly sinking ship. And the risk of Troy Fautanu struggling to learn the left tackle position. The consequence there is Aaron Rodgers' blind side is brutally exposed, the offense reverts right back to a pathetic dink and dunk scheme, and the quarterback's physical health is put in immediate jeopardy. If even one of these pillars falls, the entire structure comes crashing down.
We are literally days away from training camp. The pieces are on the board, but man, the foundation is visibly trembling. The front office is playing a high-stakes game of chicken with their absolute best young defender. The defense is desperately praying a $51 million linebacker suddenly remembers how to tackle. And the offense? They're betting the physical health of a legendary quarterback on a massive, highly technical positional shift. The clock is ticking, loudly. So, what do you think? Will they break before the season even begins? Let me know what you think down in the comments.